Okay, welcome to the Mastermind for the Build Hour. And we were just discussing longevity in, like how people come and go or how they stay long term. And I'm curious, like thoughts around how to build that on purpose, right? Like so that the retention is there. And yeah, what's coming up for you that you want to share? Anyone that's on? Suze, Amy.
Yeah, I mean, retention it's such a crazy thing because it can be so personal and it can be so like so understanding that if something doesn't align, then it doesn't align, and that's amazing. Like blessing and releasing, like that's amazing. It's great, when it does align, and there's road bumps that come along the way. Like there are some things that are just really worth fighting for and really worth staying around and really worth showing up for. And so I think retention and being able to say, hey, this is worth it. Like this is worth it for me. I am worth it to show up. I am worth it to put in the effort. I am worth it, And so that's like when I think of longevity, I mean, I think of OPWP being around like when we're 80 years old and we're like, hey, and seeing all the pivots that we go through, like what is that going to look like? Are we going to zoom over to each other's houses on our like airplane scooters or something, or like it just but to be able to know that the heart and the soul of OPWP is for each other and is to lift each other up and to yeah, to hold each other accountable with encouraging accountability. So building, having that community and belonging and connecting on a different level. So yeah,
and with the retention piece, like if I just think about OPWP, like one of the things, like I was thinking about how Nancy was just asking about something in the last hour, and you can't just walk into like a random networking group or a group of strangers and be like, hey, what do you think of this, right? Like I think there's something to be said for like knowing the people in that circle, so that like you can see those changes or see when it's always interesting when someone, like I'll be on a call and someone will text me and be like, is everything okay? And people notice like those subtle shifts. And it's like that like adds to the experience. So it's like creating that longevity for people not only helps them, but it like helps the group as a whole, because like you have those dynamics that just don't exist when you meet new people.
Yeah.
I love that. It's something that just hit me too, is that to me is like a growth spurt, right? Like when you have the really focused people that know your soul, know your heart, can help like instantly, or when you're versed with who you're showing up for, like in the mastermind time of any of the hours, when you know the person and they can catch on faster to what you need, you're able to fill that, someone is able to fill it when you're able to communicate more clearly, you understand mannerism, like all of those things are in alignment with like where you're showing up to, get back in alignment, refocus, or what that is. So the retention is huge on that, because it is about connection. It is about feeling known, and that it's good to show up in vulnerability and be able to, like, that's part of the retention too, is like really being seen, because a lot of times I think people leave things because they don't understand it, they didn't connect with it, but then the question is like, did you play full out, did you commit to what you said, that you wanted and show up for it, to allow it to be what you wanted it to be.
Mhm.
And
And I
like,
think
I don't know if it was on here or before, but you'd said, Amy, you had said like, if you're going all the time, like you don't catch those things. And I think that's a huge thing about the retention and being able to focus on knowing your numbers and knowing what it looks like with feedback, because feedback is a gift.
yes. Yeah, I think too, in talking about how like we can know at hello, that something's up, or that like even our stance or our body language, all of that stuff, because we are learning each other. And I think the amazing thing about OPWP is that every single guest has that opportunity to be known. It's
Yeah.
every single guest. That's the structure that we hold, is that every single person is able to be known if they want to be.
Mhm.
If it is a place that lines up with who they are and what they need and all of that, then like you're in. When you're in. And so that's why it is invite only. And that's why it is, like we were protective and excited to grow. There's a protection in the excitement. But just to know that no matter what, when you are a member of OPWP, you belong. And so the visiting and the retention of that is that, I just want to say, like, if that isn't felt or known, then show up. Show up. And then it'll be felt. It'll be known.
Yeah, and I think another good example of that, like the other day, there was, we were talking about boundaries, and um, it was like, because like it's such a supportive group, like Terry, which I don't know that she would normally just like speak up in any other like venue, to be like, I don't think I even know what my boundaries are. And then
Yeah.
it was nice to be like, oh, this is a boundary. Like, this is one of your boundaries, and just like knowing that about her. But I really felt um, like I really stopped for a second and thought, I don't know that she would have offered that
Mhm.
like in another group. So like seeing that magic happen.
Yeah.
That is what I call a love punch. When it's someone you know and you care about and you know their heart and you know that they're shrinking back who they are, or they don't see their greatness, like that is what I call a love punch. And we do that because we love you and we're going to punch you in the face and say, yeah, get real. That's not true. Or, in a supportive way. That's why it's love. But we are at the top of the hour, and this is the build hour. So go build the rest of your day and have
Woo.
fun.